We live. There you go.
Welcome, everybody, to the Lexit War Room. We have a special guest, man. We're really happy to have him. I know everybody's seen him on TikTok, seen him on Instagram. He's spreading knowledge, and what really stood out to me about his posts and really stood out to me is he's educated. A lot of people get on social media and they just kind of just make videos just to make videos. But this brother right here is making videos to educate people. I know he's educated a lot of us. So, Kory YESHUA, we thank you, bro, for coming on the Lexit War Room. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, man. I'm glad to be on here.
For sure, bro. So you met Jess, you met Carmen. So real quick, to people that haven't met you and some of the audience we have on here, give us, before we get into some of the questions, give us a little background. How you grew up, kind of what made you to the man you are today.
Well, I would say I pretty much grew up in the music industry. I grew up doing music, rapping since I was like 7, 8 years old. And, we used to do shows, fly all around. And it went from there to what you guys see today. Somehow ended up in politics, and it's just been a progression. I started learning, I started reading people like Booker T. Washington and Thomas Sowell and learning the actual history of this country, and what we come from. And yeah, that's how it started. I would say Trump was a big eye opener for me. At first, I wasn't for him. I actually was for Bernie Sanders, believe it or not.
No.
I used to watch. Yeah, I used to watch the Young Turks, and because all my family voted Democrat. And yeah, man, it was just something that was a part of Black history. Like being in my family, you voted Democrat. You know what I mean? Like a lot of us.
Right. No, for sure. What's funny is I watched some of the Young Turks stuff too, but not because I was educated, just because I love their reactions when Trump won. It's like the best reaction. They were like all excited. They're like, he's gonna win, and they're like, their heads exploded, bro. I was just sitting back, like, yep.
Yeah. No, I was actually on the other side, man. Like I said, I was for Bernie, but I didn't really know much about politics like that. Like I didn't vote for Obama. I didn't like him. I know that I didn't like him. I knew that there was something weird with him because everybody was so excited about him, like he was the savior or something. So for me, in my eyes back then, I was just looking at it like, yeah, it's something weird about this guy. But once 2016 came around and Trump came around, I started to see certain stuff that media was saying about him, and everybody was just against it. And it was just weird, man. And they was taking his words and saying things that he wasn't saying, and that just made me look a little more into it. And then I started to like actually some of the things he was talking about. So it made me just look into things deeper, and it changed my mind.
Heck yeah, that's tight, bro. That's dope. So go ahead, Jess.
Wow, your story seems a lot similar to mine, and that's how it started at Lexit. Like everybody knows, I was a lifelong Democrat too, and I was just sick of the attacks on Trump by the fake media and all that. But another thing that got me, because I was a Democrat, but I got converted, I got saved, I got born again, and as a Christian, that what motivated me, because everybody has different reasons. They could be pro Second Amendment, it could be whatever reasons why they leave the Democrat Party. But my particular mind was my faith. As a Christian, right. I could no longer support the party because they were going all against my godly moral values. And I see your name. That's why I follow you. We're friends on Facebook and all that. And I see that you're another believer, and your name's Yeshua. You have Yeshua on there. So I want to talk to you a little bit about your faith, your testimony.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I was in the music industry, and what comes along with that. If anybody on here has ever been, around anybody in the music industry, or all you got to do is really, watch a rap video, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and everything else that comes along with it. So yeah, so I was in the music industry, man, for a long time, and actually one day I went to church with my mom, and because growing up we did go to church here and there. Like my grandfather was he was a pastor, you know, and his dad was actually a pastor that got, you know, kicked out of his country for, you know, preaching the word, Barbados. So yeah, I went to church with my mom, man, and you know, I seen a lot of different things in the scripture that I hadn't seen before, because I never really read the Bible like that. You know, like growing up, I didn't really ever get into it like that. So I went to church and I started to learn the history. You know, I started learning about the early church fathers, the ante-Nicene fathers, and you know, it opened my eyes, man. It really opened my eyes to a lot of things that's going on in this world, a lot of things that's going on in the church, and the reason that, you know, I was turned off by church a lot of times was because, you know, I would just see people not living out, you know, what the Bible talked about, you know, or not even trying to be like Jesus, just claiming his name, you know. So that turned me off. It turned a lot of people off around me, you know, a lot of my family members, a lot of people of my generation. So yeah, I just learned, man, and you know, I got unveiled, you know, I got unblinded, you know, and same thing with the politics, you know, I started to look deeper.
Exactly. Yeah, that's great. That's just blessed to know that you found the Lord and He saved you, and you know what I mean. And He's using you, obviously, because it was a blessing seeing the video of you and your beautiful daughter. Like you said, everybody, she was adorable to everybody. Even Carmen sent me pictures of you and your daughters and all that. But everywhere you were on Fox News, I seen you on all different kinds of ones. So God is definitely using, like He's using me, brother. Because imagine me, I was an ex-gang member, all this and that. I was at the White House 6 times, and God's using me for
Wow.
His glory. So God had a purpose for me and you, and I know He's probably just barely starting with you, my brother. But go ahead, Sister Carmen.
I haven't been a gang member or anything, but God's using me. But Kory, I just want to ask you. So for the viewers, now I can't see your stuff on Facebook because I'm banned on Facebook, but I've seen your stuff on Instagram a lot and I love it. For the viewers, I'd like you to give everybody, because I know that CRT is a big passion for you. I'd like you to give the viewers kind of an overview of what CRT really is and why you think it's so important to speak out against it.
Yeah, so like I was saying in the video with my daughter, I think what's going on, man, is I think a lot of this stuff has been around in the underground. I was just talking to somebody about it this morning. I think a lot of this stuff that we're seeing, critical race theory and anti-racism and all this stuff, it's been around for a while, but it's starting to hit the mainstream, right? And we're starting to see it in politics now, because it's starting to come into schools, kindergarten, you know, through grade 12, right? And a lot of this stuff is based in Marxism. It has its roots in Marxism, right? And it started with critical theory, then it turned into critical race theory with a man named Derek Bell, right? And there was a few other people, but in law school. So, you know, I seen this stuff. I seen this stuff happening. I seen what's going on. I seen the division that they're trying to plant, right? And I think it's because, man, I think it's deeper. You know, I think it's deeper than a lot of us realize. Of course, it's spiritual. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's spiritual. Everything's spiritual. You know, everything that we see in the natural, you know, takes form in the spiritual. So it's like all this division that's going on. It's like Satan just been taking over people's minds, man. You know, he's been taking over people's minds, and people, because America has allowed him in. America has allowed him in with this abortion, you know, and the killing of babies, you know, the slaying of innocent blood, man, and these laws passing that we just, you know, where we've taken the Bible out of everything, we've taken God out of everything. Like, what do we think was gonna happen?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's sick, man. So yeah, for me, it's just it's fighting against that division, right? Because you can't change the color you were born, you can't change the race you were born, you can't change the family you were born into, right? So that is the sickest thing that they could possibly like how do you put that into schools, man? Like how do you put this racism, this division into schools for children to learn? And then they try to say, oh, children aren't learning it. But we have all these examples. If children aren't learning it, why are school unions wiping it off their websites? Like they were once saying, oh, we're putting this over here, we're putting critical race theory over here, we're pushing it forward over here, pushing forward over there. But now they're wiping it off their websites. Why are you wiping it off your websites all of a sudden?
Right.
You know, the president of the AFT, the American Federation of Teachers, coming out saying critical race theory critical race theory is not being taught in schools, but we see it. We can see it, dude. We're not blind. We have eyes and we have ears.
Right. So what are some of the principles of critical race theory in particular that people should be aware of, and why it's so dangerous for their children?
Well, like I was just saying, it's based on division. When it first started, when critical theory was started, or Marxism is about, you know, the upper class and the lower class, right? And dividing there. But then they turn it into, with critical race theory, it's about race, right? So it's dividing us with what we can't change, the color of our skin, like I said. And if people want to look into it, you look into Christopher Rufo. He did a good documentary on it on YouTube. And Derek Bell, like I said, was one of the biggest guys who started putting this out into law schools and transformed it into critical race theory from critical theory. So it's all, you know, it's all Marxism based. It's all race based.
Right. So just in general, you feel like overall, it's not a good idea to just start talking about race and hammering everything being about race. You're not into that. I mean, that's how I feel myself too.
Right.
And it seems like right now, it seems like they're just the last 5 to 10 years, it's just been boiling up. Like everything all of a sudden is about race. And it's so strange to me because we finally had a black president, right? We had a black president. And when we had a black president, all of a sudden, everything's about how racist America is. And it just baffles my mind because I'm like, if America was so racist, a bunch of white people wouldn't have voted in a black president. You know what I mean? Like, I think we would have
It goes back further than that. It goes back further than that. It's like, you know, with the Underground Railroad and things, man, like with the things they don't teach us is how, you know, white people were there during the Underground Railroad and helping slaves escape. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy because it's like they say, you know, whiteness this, whiteness that, and how whiteness is like a disease. But no, man, the poison is putting in people's minds and making people see everything through the lens of race and dividing us by race. That's the problem. You know what I mean? Like, we have our history. They say they want to teach history. You can teach American history without saying that white people are evil or that black people are inferior. That's not teaching black history.
Amen. Appreciate that. Thank you. I'm going to pass it to Brother A-Rod now.
Yeah, so it's a trip, bro, because what you were saying, hold on one second. Let me write this down. What you were saying real quick about it's been here for a while. It has, because a couple years ago, I remember when my daughter came and we went to her classroom, and she's in junior high. She was in the 7th grade at the time. And it showed everything that they were talking about, what they were going to talk about as far as like different religions. And I noticed that they were talking about every religion, but Christianity was left out. And I was like, okay, wait, Christianity's left out. How come? But see, people don't realize this is what they were doing. They weren't pushing their ideology. They were just trying to take out, like you said, for many years, we're just not going to talk about God anymore. And we're not going to hire any teachers that seem like they're, I guess, Bible thumpers, right? Because the more and more we're seeing that's what's going on. Actually, here in town, and I just found this out, there's 2 teachers at Bakersfield College that are suing the college because the school pretty much went against them because they had, I guess, faith-based ideas. Whenever they were teaching their curriculum, they were pushing more like faith-based. So there was a certain group, Hispanic group, that went against them, and they were actually fired from the college, 2 of them. So they got together and they're actually suing. I didn't know this. It was not on the news or anything. And it just came on local news that these 2 teachers that are actually suing the college here because they felt like, hey, wait, hold on. How come this teacher can push what they believe, but I can't give my, you know, ideology when it comes to, you know, it offended somebody when it comes to my conservative beliefs or my faith, you know, whatever. And I think, like you said, what they're trying to do is they're trying to backtrack because I'll be honest, they're not dumb. The best way to get to the left and to wake them up is through our kids, right? When we start telling them, hey, look what they're doing to our kids, they're like, okay, we stand with you. But if they could sit there and say, well, what are we doing to them? We're not doing nothing. Then people just keep on being brainwashed doing it over and over because they're just sitting there going, what are you talking about? Let's just erase everything. Let's backtrack real quick. But we see that they're doing it, right? Well, dude, I had a question for you, man, because I know when I came out, man, the Latino community hit me hard, bro. I mean, I'm pretty much disowned, bro. I mean, like, people kind of respect me, but I'm like, now I'm whitewashed. Now I'm, you know, every name in the book. What's some of the pushback that you got from friends, from the community? You said you were in the music business, right? I could just imagine it being so far to the left. Their heads exploded when they saw some of your videos, right?
Right. Some people, you know, some people actually like what I'm doing now. You know, they just want to know how it happened. You know what I mean? They're like, man, what, it's such a, like, if you go back, you know, like maybe 7 years, you know, 8 years, something like that, and you see the person I was then to see the person I am today, it's like completely different. You know what I mean?
Right.
So a lot of people just want to know how it happened, and also, you know, I get pushback, but it's main so people, mainly that I don't know, you know, like strangers that I never knew. You know what I mean? People from my past don't. If they do contact me, they're like, "Hey, man, how did this happen? I see what you're doing." You know what I mean? I like that you bring in the history and things like that. But I would say it's more so from people that I don't know. I would say my family members more so are like, "Oh, that's cool. Keep doing what you're doing." You know, the ones that I talk to anyway. But yeah, I would say it's more so strangers. You know, strangers maybe in the Black community and things that might be angry that I'm doing this. Like, I had actually posted a girl who had wrote me and was talking about how I'm coming against critical race theory and I shouldn't be, and how, you know, with or without me is going to get put in schools, and, you know, just a lot of a lot of anger.
Did you see that?
You know,
Did you see that video that Lexit posted, that Jesse posted, where the teacher went by and she went like this? I guess one teacher stood up in like in an auditorium and the other teacher didn't like it. So when she passed by, she gave her like you're dead, because one teacher.
Nah.
I'll say to her, shadow banned so bad, brother. That's why.
Yeah, so I guess
that's, yeah. I tried to add you guys, man, and like when I put the ad in, your name was like a shadow, like your page was like a shadow. I couldn't click it. It was crazy.
Yeah, when you start posting the truth, all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we're going to hit them. So, but yeah, bro, we love your stance on that. And, you know, I was always curious about your pushback on, because we get it a lot. But you know what, that goes to show me, bro, that people respected you before you did this. That's what it goes to show me, because usually that's what happens is people that respect you before and you jump into something, they're like, well, he's not dumb. We respect him. And he's, you know, if he's doing it, he knows what he's doing. So,
no, don't get me wrong. I'm sure that there are people that's like, this dude is crazy, he done lost his mind, but I haven't like personally heard it from people that I actually knew. You know, like I said, strangers and stuff will hit me, like people I've never known will hit me and like be angry or whatever. But people that I actually know from my past, I haven't got a lot of you know, pushback from any of them.
Right, that's crazy. All right, bro, Jess.
Yeah, and speaking back to the critical race theory stuff, the reason they do it, brother, is just to manipulate Latinos and Black minorities. That's why they make everything about race. Like I always say, they always like a carrot. They look, race. They don't want to talk about killing babies. They don't want to talk about socialism. They don't want to talk about taking your guns. They don't want to talk about men and women's restrooms and all that. So they just race. Keep your focus over here. So that's what they do. That's why we're totally against it. But because we're sick of it. That's why I was sick of Latinos being played. You know what I mean? They're just playing us for votes, basically. But I want to get your thoughts on. What do you think of your thoughts on the Republican Party? Like, to me, it doesn't seem like they're doing nearly enough. Like, especially the Congress people. And I don't never really hear them mentioning too much about CRT. Like, I see you, me, and other influencers and other conservative pages that we're blowing the whistle and we're calling it out and stuff like that. But I haven't really seen too much from the Republicans in office speaking about it. So what are your thoughts? You think that they're doing enough, or what do you think that could be done to help the situation?
As far as critical race theory goes?
Yeah, about them pushing it.
Yeah, I seen Ron DeSantis talking about, you know, banning it everywhere, and then somebody sent me something about Texas trying to ban it for schools. But Yeah, for the most part, man, I feel like a lot of Republicans in office are like always on the defense. Like Democrats are
Yeah,
like always on offense. They're always the ones that's pushing all the crazy stuff, and then we have to come with the shields and like try to block every, you know what I mean, from every which way, you know. So it's like, why aren't we more so on the offense? You know, why are we always playing like defense? I don't understand that, man. So yeah, I would definitely, you know, that's why I posted the other day, man. I'm like, look, I don't care if a person is a Republican. If they're not standing against, you know, abortion and critical race theory and Marxism and communism and,
Right.
you know, all these different types of things, then I'm not voting for them. I don't care just because their
exactly.
name has a Republican. I'm a conservative anyway. So, like,
Amen.
you know, I'm not like voting for you just because you have an R next to your name. I'm not.
Yeah, like me too. Like, so I've been saying, all of our team members know we're really frustrated with the Republicans. We're just so mad. So like I'm like to the point like don't even call. I'm not a Republican no more. I'm just like you said. I'm just a conservative. I mean, I'll say like I always say, I'm a Biblican. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I vote the Bible. I'm a Biblican. You know what I mean? That's how I
Right.
roll. That's what I'm gonna stick with. And like you said, I don't care who it is, even Trump, if he comes out pro-abortion or whatever like that, then I ain't gonna support him. I won't do that. I don't compromise. I will not do that. But that's good that you standing strong, brother. And go ahead, Sister Kory.
Maybe we need a new party. I like that.
Right.
The Biblicans.
The Biblicans.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh, we'd all be white
Biblicans.
supremacists instantly. We
Right.
can't call ourselves that, right? So, Kory, I see. Did I see this right? You have two daughters, two little daughters.
I have 3.
Oh, you have 3. Okay, I think I only saw pictures of 2.
I have a picture of my newborn on there. She's 2 months now, so I don't know if that's considered a toddler yet. I don't know. She's 2 months.
That's still a new name, I think. Yeah. How old are your 2?
3, and Royalty just turned 7.
Oh, that's awesome.
A-Rod should know he has like 10 kids.
Hey, all over California. No, just kidding. No, just kidding. Hey,
He's going to be the head of our Biblican party. So I have a 10-year-old daughter myself, and I don't think in her school they've started any of this nonsense. She goes to a private school. But what do you say to parents out there? Like, how can they get involved to combat the situation with the CRT in schools? Like, what do you think they should do?
I think parents have to think more like locally. You know what I mean? Like school boards, going up to school boards, and if they see it come, like parents are hitting me, you know, sending me different things, and if I see something that stands out to me, you know, I'll tell them. But for me, it's like you got to hit the school board, man. We got to start changing our local offices, man. You know, we got to start running locally. That's what I would say, man. We got to run locally. We got to think about the school boards, you know, getting on these school boards. Somehow, it seems like everybody with the craziest ideas ended up, you know, in local office and ended up in the school boards and ended up in all these places, man. And it's like I said, it seemed like we always on the defense. So, you know, we just got to start thinking offensively.
I agree. And you're right. I think that it was part of this communist takeover plan from like 60 years ago, where they literally said, like, we need to take over the education. We need to take over, you know, the brains and minds of these young people. And they really did. Like, they had a plan to infiltrate. So you're exactly right. They literally had this plan. It took them several decades to execute it, but they've done a pretty good job now. And now it's like literally everywhere. And it's even coming from the federal level. But I'm hoping that if we can get people to join, you know, city councils and board of education and stuff like that, and their school districts, you know, if we can get good conservative people that be activated finally, because you're right. For some reason, it's like the crazy people with the most insane ideas always are the ones that jump on there. So if we can get more conservatives that way, maybe we can start to fight it from the local level and push back enough. But it seems like the state, ultimately, it seems like our governor and stuff, you know, and whatever, you know.
Yeah, we got like the governor of California, man. That guy gotta go, man. Like, we are, and it's more than just him, man. It seems like all these Democrat governors, man, when they were putting out all these mandates for everybody. Like, I actually did a video on it. you know, they're literally putting out these mandates, and you see them out here, you see them with their family over here, you see them at dinner. You know what I mean? It's like they're not following their own rules. You know, so it's like these people gotta go too, man. Like they have to go. They have to go.
Hypocrites, absolute hypocrites. You're right.
Hypocritical.
It's everywhere. So yeah, I mean, thank you for that advice. I mean, we really do have to activate parents. Like, I'm constantly trying to get parents. People are always telling me to run for local offices, but I'm like, no, you run for local office. We need a lot. I'm not going to save everybody, but we need everybody to go out there and save all the cities and all the districts and then the states. You know what I mean? We have to take it back. So thank you for that advice.
The power has to come back to the people,
yeah.
Man. And we got to know that we are strong. You know, we got to be more united, like, and stop letting little, like, dumb things, you know, separate us, man. Like, honestly, you know, like, I think that's a big problem. You know, I think that's a big problem, man. If we all realize that we the people are stronger, you know, we the people are stronger together than we are separated, then we can really get things done.
Amen. I appreciate that. And Brother A-Rod.
Yeah, you said it, bro. You must have read my notes. I put unite as you guys were talking, because I'll be honest with you, a big problem we got, bro, because I mean, people are always telling me, why don't you run? And I'm like, look, I'll be honest with you. I'll probably be worse for you because my skeletons got skeletons. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you don't want me to run, I'll take you guys. No. But I think the biggest problem we do have fighting them is money. And this is where it comes down to, is a lot of people, they got money. See, they unite and they realize, okay, if we throw enough cash at these local people that are running, if we fundraise, because this is what we do. If people don't, this is why I try to tell people, when people donate to BLM, it goes to what? The Democratic Party, right? The Democratic Party does what? They push their ideology. Okay, well, you expect it to. It's all just this train that runs together, like we get it. But when it comes to us, people don't understand. We're like, here we go, let's donate to the GOP, but then we see you guys were talking about it earlier. How come they're not doing nothing? It's like watching a football team that the players are throwing the game. And you're like, they're running around, but nobody's tackling. Hold on real quick. And then you need to start realizing, hey, our team's throwing the game. We're throwing hundreds of millions of dollars at these players, and they're throwing the game. So guess what? Keep your money. Throw it on an official or somebody that you like, and maybe you might win. Because I hate to say it, it's people just think that's why when you guys were talking about Republican, Democrat earlier, literally, that's what's scary about that. You guys, Kory said it, and Jesse said it. I'm independent. And I think that's the most powerful thing you can be right now when it comes to politics. I'm going to tell you what, when you say you're Democrat or you say you're a Republican, that means you have to pretty much back what these people are doing. You have to kind of, in a way, you've already told them, I support whoever has this. And that's what we're just thinking, because it's a Republican, you're going to be more conservative. They're going to follow their godly values. That's not so. That's us. That's us people. But we're seeing that it's not happening. That's why some of the most wicked people are being put into office, and some of the most wicked policies are being pushed through. Why? Because the majority of people are not all Bible-based like that, like we think they are. They're really not. The corruption runs deep. So I tripped out on it because I'm like you said, we're not united. Right now, half of the party thinks Trump come back next week on a white horse. The other half thinks that we're gonna die in a I don't know, meteorite. Someone's gonna hit us in a year and a half. Like, we're just all over the place, bro. And we need to unite and come together and say, look, we're all the same. We all realize we don't like what's being pushed, and we're not. You know what I mean? I think that's very difficult because they're smart. They're being smart right now, bro. So I think BLM came out with
right. I think if we set out some main tenets, like I think if we set 5 main tenets that that everybody can get down with, that we're not voting for anybody that is blah 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 blah. I think everybody could just come together, man.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, bro. So BLM, did you hear what they said about Cuba on their post?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's crazy to me because everybody all of a sudden they're like, I can't believe BLM. I can't believe. What's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on BLM? What's your thoughts on what they said about Cuba? And why is everybody all of a sudden like shocked? Like Cuba just all of a sudden out of nowhere just, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know,
Yeah,
like it just started yesterday.
their support for, you know, the government of Cuba doesn't surprise me. And then also them coming against America. I mean, they come against America every day. So that's also not, you know, surprising, you know, when we see what they were founded on, or who the founders are, you know, trained Marxists, you know, and Marxists want to do what? They want to tear down the current structure, you know, and have a revolution, you know. So it's really not surprising that they back the government, but it's like, I think a lot of people that were supporting BLM are like, hold on. Like, what do you mean?
Right.
Like, are people over here getting like kidnapped and killed? And you know what I mean? So yeah, I think a lot of people are actually they're just doing a lot of things to shoot themselves in the foot, man. Like, and I think that that monument thing they had did on MLK Day, when they did the twerking thing, the twerk on Washington or whatever. Like a lot of things they're doing, man, is just like people, you know, I'm seeing different people wake up to their actions. You know, it's just that we got the media on their side, you know, and they're constantly pumping out this propaganda of like Black Lives Matter being a good thing for Black people, you know, and that's the machine that we're up against. We're up against the establishment, you know, in as far as politicians go, and then the media, which is a Democrat arm, you know what I mean? So it's like we're up against the machine, you know, but I
Right.
think a lot of people are waking up now, and they're starting to see like the more that these people talk and expose themselves, the better it is for us. You know, it's like we try to expose them to people that we know, and they don't listen, but these people are starting to expose themselves. So their
Exactly.
own words are like burying them.
Right. No, that's spot on, bro. That's exact. They're like another. And I always tell everybody, it's not like Trump was an easy sell. Me and Jess talk about this all the time, because when you would stick up for Trump, then he would say something. They're like, "What about that?" I'm like, ah. You know what I mean? Someone would be like, "Look at the policies he did. Don't look what he says. Don't pay attention to that." So it wasn't like he was an easy sell, but you know, it's just crazy. But go ahead, Jess.
Bro, yeah, since you're in Cali, bro, I know that I want to talk to you about this situation. I don't know if you've seen because we posted it and it went viral, so I'm sure you've seen it about the We Spa incident with the transgender
Mm-hmm.
dude and all that. Because since you over here in Cali and you have daughters, I wanted to get your, because even they're saying that they're supposed to be out there again this Saturday, but to me it was just disgusting how that there was even little girls in there, brother. I don't know if you've seen it. But there was, imagine the poor little girls. That's like traumatized. Imagine the little girls in there like that with all women, and then they just see some naked dude walk in and all that. Like, and like, see, even like how we were saying the CRT and the Republican Party, how they always seem to be quiet. Even like on this, you don't see none of the Republicans talking about it. And even when they're on the right side, they're on that's a winning issue to me. That's a winning issue to fight, saying that we're against that and all that. But they're just, like I always say, they're spineless cowards, and it just frustrates me so much, because why don't you come out being bold against it, stand with all of your followers and all that. But I just want to get your thoughts on that situation that happened over here in Cali.
Right. And then I believe there was pastors that came after the situation. Weren't there preachers out there and then got beat up by like
And they got
Antifa and all that?
attacked. Yeah, they attacked
Yeah,
all the
so
Christians.
right. And so yeah, man, you got men exposing themselves to little girls. Okay, that's to everybody, even if you don't have kids, but especially if you got kids, man, it's like, and daughters, right? I like you said, I have daughters, man. I don't play that type of stuff, man. Like, and the lady in the video seemed like she wasn't playing that either.
She
You know,
wasn't. Yeah.
she was standing up and she was making sure everybody heard. You know, to the point to where you had other people going up to the register and say, "Hey, I want my money back." Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I don't play those type of games. When it comes to bathrooms, when it comes to all that type of stuff, like, I'm not playing that stuff, man. Like a man exposed themselves to little girls, to women. Even if there were little girls, there was women in there. Okay, a man exposed their parts to women. Like, I don't understand how everybody is not against that. How is everybody not against this? Like, then you got there was a guy in the video who was like coming against the woman, you know, who was coming against the fact that there was men exposing themselves to little girls and women. And to me, it's like this would have been the same type of guy who would have been marching with BLM with his fists up, like, you know, pro-black, I'm for black women and black this and black, like, but then you in the video going against this woman who's coming against the fact that there is a man in there exposing himself to, you know what I mean? So it's crazy, man. That's absurd. That's very sick. Like, I don't understand how people don't see that there is a problem. There is a serious problem going on. When you can have people defend and then beat up pastors, beat up preachers and beat up pastors who are coming against the fact that there are men exposing themselves to women and little girls at a spa, like, you gonna beat them up for that? That's crazy, man. Come on, man. That's nuts.
Yeah, that's to let you know, brother. That's why everybody, if you ain't right with God, you better make sure you're right with God, because Jesus is coming soon. I would said it would be like these in these
good evil and evil good.
Exactly, like, because imagine, brother, if that would have happened, imagine even 5 years ago or something, maybe he would have been arrested, bro, or anywhere else. If it's a straight dude walks to you and your kids or whoever and shows himself, he's gonna be arrested. But why? Just because he says he's trying or whatever, then he don't get arrested just so he can just run do whatever the hell he wants. And another thing too is the police, like, they pissed me off that day. They're right there assaulting Christian pastors and all this and that, and none of them got arrested, bro. They're right there fighting back with the cops, doing all this junk, and the cops didn't arrest none of them, bro. That's like I always tell A-Rod, it emboldens them, bro. It emboldens them because they're doing all this crap they're doing, and they're not going to jail, bro. They're not going to jail, and even if they do, they get bailed out. Yeah. Or else in Cali over here, they're releasing all kinds of prisoners. You know? So they're just, that's what's making, they need to just start locking all these Antifa and all these punks dudes up, man. We're just getting tired of it. That's why. And then, so imagine when
I think they want a civil war, man. I think they want it, man, because it really doesn't make sense. It's like it's just boiling till the pot just, you know, boils over. You know what I mean? It's like a pressure cooker, man. It's like, what do people think is gonna happen, man? And I don't want no violence, man. I don't want people out hurting each other. I don't want people out, you know, fighting each other. I think we should fight with these, man, our minds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I really believe also is going on. You know what I mean? There's a war of, like, on for our minds as well, man.
Right.
You know, there's a battle going on. That's why they don't want us to debate. That's why they want to take us off all social media, because if our ideas are better than their ideas, then our ideas are going to overcome their ideas, and they're going to infiltrate people's minds, and people are going to start to think, and people are going to start to question. You know, so they don't even want that type of war going on.
Yeah, see, that's how communists, they just shut you down. They don't want to argue. They don't want to debate and all that. They just believe me, or else they just attack you. But go ahead, Sister Carmen.
Yeah, so actually this is a nice segue into my next question, which is censorship, because I actually went to Hong Kong to fight against the CCP, the China CCP. They have basically one news outlet, and it feeds the news to the entire country. They're told what to believe. Same thing in North Korea, same thing in Cuba. Like, they don't get a bunch of outside news. In fact, in Cuba, you're not even allowed to talk to the tourists when they come and visit. You're not allowed to mingle with tourists because they don't want you to know what the tourists are really like and what it's like in other places, you know, because they don't want you to revolt.
That's like North Korea.
Yeah, exactly. So have you been censored on any platforms?
For sure. I'm for sure getting censored on shadow banned on TikTok. I've had videos taken off of Instagram that I literally had a video that I posted of a young black dude who was talking about how he used to, like, growing up, you know, he used to be really racist toward white people. And then, you know, he ended up going to church and speaking with his pastor. And his pastor really gave him a new lens to see the world through, you know, and change his mind about white people. And no longer was he racist, you know, and he just seen white people as people. And they literally took that video down. Like, that's crazy. Like, how do you take that video down? There was nothing. That was all positive. That was all, you know, a beautiful thing. A guy went from racist to unracist. Like, he got his mind changed. They took that video down. And then they sent me something saying, a warning like I'm about to get my page taken down or something. Like it was crazy. So yeah, and then on that's Instagram, and then on TikTok, you know, when that video that had went viral with me and my daughter, they took the sound off of that video. And nobody can say it's because of the song that was on there, because the song I had on there, I got on plenty of other videos, and nothing happened with those videos. You know, and that video only had like 20,000 views or something at the time, and everywhere else it was getting like, you know, millions and this and that. So yeah, and then, you know, on TikTok I get videos taken down all the time. Like that's, you know, but that's TikTok, you know, that I kind of expect that on TikTok.
Are you gonna jump on Trump's lawsuit? You know, he's doing a big
What
class
about, are
action
you on
lawsuit.
Getter, brother?
Yeah, I just actually made a Getter. I haven't posted it yet, but I just made a Getter like last night or night before last. I actually made one. But yeah, I don't know about the lawsuit, because I don't think TikTok a part of the lawsuit, because that's one of the main places I'm getting, you know, can't follow me or they can't post my videos. But how do I prove that? How do I prove that people can't, if they're not sending me videos of them not being able to post my video or follow me, then I can't really prove it.
Yeah, it might be a difficult one to prove. There's some cases where you can try to prove it, but yeah, I'm not sure if TikTok's included in the lawsuit, but I am going to look at it myself because I've been permanently banned off of Facebook. But I was just going to say, you know, how dangerous is censorship to a society? I always say that censorship is the beginning of communism. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Absolutely. Like I was just saying about ideas, right? If we can't even put our ideas out and challenge things and have debate and, you know, come to a census on what do we want as a society? You know, what do we want as America? Like, if we can't even do that, then you basically just having, you know, one side out. You're having one side out, and everybody's picking up on. That's why when you go to like talk to somebody that's on the other side, and you'll give them some, like one of my friends, right? He lives up north. You know what I mean? And I'll give him some news, and he'll have no clue what I'm talking. He'll have no idea what I'm talking about.
Right.
Like he never heard of it. And this is a guy that really like researches things. You know, he really looks into things. He'll have no idea what I'm talking about when we'll be debating, and he'll have no clue. I'll be like, bro, you need to look at this, you need to look at that. Like he didn't even know that the founder of BLM said that they're trained Marxists. He had no clue about that.
Wow.
He had no clue about that. You know, like just different things we'll debate on.
Seems like people just take whatever they hear in the media and go with it, you know, but I agree with you 100%. Thank you for that. And thank you for speaking out about it. And I'm going to hit it to A-Rod.
Yeah, I think people do. I have this coworker, and it was just, he's a really good guy, Spanish speaking. I think he came over from Mexico later on in his life. He owns multiple houses. I want to say like 6, 7 houses. His wife's an engineer, but he's well off. He's a good guy. And today, he said something to me, and I'm like, I just looked at him because on the news they said, "Oh, we're going to close down in LA. It's probably going to shut down again and make you wear masks." And I looked at him and I said, "Man, they're going to make us shut down today." And he looked at me and he goes, "It's because nobody wants to get vaccinated." And I go, "What?" And he goes, and then he goes, I go, "Are you vaccinated?" He goes, "I'm double vaxxed." And then I looked at him and I was like, "Shut him!" Nah, just kidding. I didn't say that. But I looked at him and I was like, "Bro, well, if you're double vaxxed, you have nothing to worry about, right? I mean, you're vaxxed." And he goes, "Yeah, but they said that it's happening because," and that's what I mean. It was right then and there. He was just repeating what he heard. I'm telling you, bro, Telemundo, they literally got these people, like Latinos, hypnotized to believe everything they say. Like whatever comes out, that's what you believe. That's what you're saying. What's his name? Another one too. You know that comedian Gabriel Iglesias, the chunky one, fluffy. He came out today and he said, "I've been vaccinated, but I got COVID." And then he turns around and says, "But I didn't get it as bad because I got the shot." Now, how in the hell do you know how bad you would have got it? But still, the information that is put out, he basically told everybody, if I get it, it wouldn't be as bad. Well, how do you know? Did you get it before you got the shot? And this is what I'm talking about. A lot of people trust the media. A lot of people trust these influencers or whatever they are, or just people that are Hollywood people, whatever. And whatever they spew, people will just, and it's sad because nobody does any research for themselves.
Right, man. They just take what the media and politicians say like hook, line, and sinker, man. It's like, but I was kind of like that too, though. Like whatever I had seen on CNN or MSNBC when I did watch the news, I kind of believed it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't think anything else. You know what I mean? You don't know anything else. And when I used to see Fox News come on, I'd be like, man, racist white people, like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it's just a mindset, man. It's a mindset that has developed, over these years, especially like with I could speak from like, like my family and growing up Democrats and things like, that's just how it is, man. We've been brainwashed. We've been hoodwinked. We don't know our history. We don't know the history of the Democrat Party. We don't know the history of the Republican Party, and that blacks are Republicans and why we were Republicans, and the fact that Democrats came against the 13th Amendment, 14th Amendment, 15th Amendment. They came against every civil rights bill, from the past up until, the 1960s. And then you see they running all our neighborhoods today. And what are they doing? Letting us kill ourselves. There's no opportunity. There's poverty everywhere. Then they want to defund the police. They're backing people that defund the police. They're backing BLM. They're not saying anything about Antifa that are burning down our neighborhoods. It's like, and we just stuck, and we just stuck, man.
I went on a live about a year ago and we talked about this, and I said more people will be more upset. And I went on live with one of my black homies, and I said more people will be upset right now if we were hanging out and like kicking it, if someone said like the N-word, or someone said wetback. We'd be more offended by that than if we heard a minority got shot across the street. We really would. If we knew somebody like a Latino got shot, or somebody got shot across the street, we'd be like, dang. But if somebody said something against our race, we'd be like, what? What'd you say? And to me, that's literally how we're conditioned. It's like you can't talk about your race. You know what I mean? They literally say like the wheat spot, what Jesse just said about the wheat spot. It is race is, you see pedophilia. That is pedophilia. That is so nasty. But yet they're like, I'd rather take pedophilia than racism. It's like, what? You can't change racism. Like that's whoever, that's not that guy's issue. But what we can do is fight against things like this. And it's just brainwashing the community. So before we get off, bro, what message do you have? Because you have a strong influence with the young people. You have a big presence when it comes to educating. What can you do to other young people that are looking up to you, other young men that have kids that are kind of seeing what you're seeing? Because I really do believe, for me, it changed. When Leilani was born, my daughter was born, it literally, I looked back and I was like, oh, can't smoke weed no more. Oh, can't do this no more. So for me, things just changed because I was like, I love this kid so much. I want to give her everything I didn't have, right? That was my mindset. So what is something you could say, because it seems like you're a good dad, you're smart. What is something you could do to lead men in that right direction? Because I feel like men right now, I'll be honest, man, they're kind of, a lot of them are just off doing whatever they're doing, messing around, acting stupid. So what's the message you can give to them?
I think we just got to get rid of this. First of all, it starts with God. That's number one.
Amen.
And second, we got to get rid of this culture of like celebrating ignorance and being ignorant, right? And not reading and learning our history. Because if we know our history, man, a lot of times we can know not only our history, but if we know history, period, the history of the world, and then we can know where we pretty much headed. You know what I mean? And with all the censorship and things like that. So for me, it's like just trying to educate people, man, and get people to see a different side, right? And I've done it in my own family, man. I've got people that seen things the way I used to see things, as far as like, one side just being all racist white people and the other side just being for black people and being for minorities and things like that. I've changed people's minds in my own family, and that was just with showing them the history and showing them where we come from and how we got here, you know, and not everything that the mainstream media says to just take it at face value, you know, to actually do your research and actually, you know, learn, you know, and if you love your children, man, and if we love our kids, like I know all of us do, you know, then we want the best future for them, right? We want the best future for them. And that starts with us all speaking up, man. And that starts with us taking a stand against what we see, the evils that we see, you know, in the world, man. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Wow, appreciate that, brother. Jess, you got anything?
Well, just thank you so much, my brother, for coming on and spending this time with us. Just go ahead and you want to let everybody know how they can follow you.
Oh yeah, Kory YESHUA on pretty much everything. My YouTube, I'm about to start doing my YouTube videos again, going live and things like that. So Kory YESHUA, KORYYESHUA, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and like Getter is what it's called, right? Getter.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, you guys can follow me and check me out on there.
All right, yeah, Getter's pretty cool. Anybody who hasn't make it should make it. You'll like it, brother, because right there you can post whatever you want and not get hit. And then you're not gonna be shadow banned.
You know,
None of
look,
that.
you know the only thing I worry about with that though. See, this is the only thing I worry about with that. Is like it being an echo chamber,
Right.
where
Yeah,
it's only people that are conservatives and Republicans, and we're all just spreading the same information that we already all know. You know what I mean,
yeah,
to each other. We're not changing
that's
any
true.
minds.
That's
You
true.
know what I
But at
mean? And
least too,
that's
we
why they
can
want to
post.
get us off all this other stuff, because they know we change your mind on these other
Oh
platforms.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Oh yeah. No, I'll still be on both, but I like that one because we can talk about things like, you know what I'm saying, like the vaccine or the
Right,
election. You know what I mean?
yeah,
We can
Yeah, I
say
always
that
go there.
we can post things over there. Yeah, that we can't
I
show.
always go over there to get like
Yeah.
some info, because you know, Instagram, you're like, man, I didn't see that guy posted 2 days ago. I'm late on that. But if you go together, I'm like going through it. I'm like, ooh, I'm taking that. I'm gonna go post that on Instagram, or ooh, I'm gonna try to do the, you know what I mean? So it's good to kind of like, you know.
No, but it's good because
Right.
we
Yeah,
can
I'm on
say
it. Like
it.
I said, I signed up I think last night or night before last. So I signed up. I just haven't announced it yet. Like, but until now.
There's so many times I want to post stuff, but I don't because I'm all gun shy about getting hit for any old
Self-censorship.
little thing. Yeah, I'm all scared like that. So I go over there and I know I could just feel comfortable. Just whatever we put, like even about, like I said, about the election, vaccine, you could just talk whatever you want over there. That's why I like it. But I understand what you're saying. We need to still be over here too, as long as we're able to. But there's sense shadow badness over here too. But well, just want to thank you again, brother, for coming on, and have a blessed weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Appreciate it, brother.
Remember, if you
Thank
don't
y'all
see
for
this
having me
logo,
on.
if you don't see this logo, it's not us. It's not Lexit. And Latinos don't have to be Democrats.
I want to encourage everybody, real quick. I want to encourage everybody who's watching. Please support Kory YESHUA. He's out there being a beacon of light for people. Everybody that's out there being outspoken and speaking truth and getting censored and getting deplatformed and getting, shadow banned. All that. It's a lot of work. Okay. It's a lot of work. So please support the people that are doing the work, because it really is a lot of work. It's a labor of love for most of us. But, if you can support us, if you can support Kory, if you can support anybody that's out there doing that work, it helps them to continue to do the work that most people don't want to do. I just want to say that. Thank you, Kory, for being a beacon of light.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
everybody.
I appreciate you guys.
All right, man. Have a
Yeah,
good
Appreciate
one,
it.
everybody.
All right, guys.